LA Behind Bars. I'm Rebecca Lieb.
I'm Jason Horton.
And this is Ghost Town.
Al Capone, Zoot Suit riots, Watts riots, Bloody Christmas, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Long Goodbye, Caged Heat, LA Confidential. These make up only part of the story of LA's dark history. We're talking about the abandoned and haunted Lincoln Heights Jail.
Ooh, I can't wait. You just visited this place. I am excited to hear more.
I referenced the Lincoln Heights Jail in a previous episode, and instead of referencing it and never doing anything about it, figured I'd change my tune.
Took some accountability.
And actually did an episode on the Lincoln Heights Jail. In our world, we've come across iconic places like this. We're familiar with it, but sometimes you need a reminder. And I watched a movie, The Long Goodbye by Robert Altman, which I had never seen. I'm trying to watch more cinema. I don't know. I'm trying to watch things that I've never seen, especially something that is heavily LA-centric.
Yeah.
And it's a good movie. I didn't love it, but it was a good movie. There's a 10-minute scene in the beginning with a cat that is amazing. If you watch that movie, the scene with the cat is so good in 1973. But I look at filming locations as a reflex. I can't enjoy a movie without looking up locations. And the Lincoln Heights Jail was not very far from where we are right now.
Not at all. Maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, kind of east. Not East LA, but East-ish LA. Some people would agree or disagree what East LA is technically or not. Just give you an idea. And there are so many movies and so many historical events that the Lincoln Heights Jail is somewhat in the center of them. What would be interesting is a story without the Lincoln Heights Jail. Would it change any of these stories? Especially a lot of movies that Lincoln Heights Jail has something to do with in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The Lincoln Heights Jail operated from the 1930s to 1965 before being decommissioned. Before its closing, the jail even housed Al Capone himself.
Whoa.
And became infamous for an incident later titled Bloody Christmas.
Holy shit.
The jail was used for various things such as big Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
And became multi-use. As I saw it, it seemed relatively abandoned. Maybe one security guard in the back. I just saw a chair, so I just assumed there was some security guard. But it has been used for a lot of different things. Mixed-use, multi-use things that right now it seems like that was kind of more in the 90s and early 2000s. And now it seems it's just a Goliath, and it's a lot of broken windows, a lot of spray paint.
Totally.
And like I said last time, eerily quiet.
Yeah.
Very eerily quiet.
And I don't think a lot of people know that about LA. That's kind of a natural progression for a lot of these buildings where they have a specific purpose. They're designed a certain way. They get use out of that. It maybe gets too expensive. The neighborhood changes. They become kind of like up for grabs, and then locations will come in or studios will use it, and they'll make some more money that way. And then it eventually dries up and becomes abandoned.
I can't speak for the inside, even though I try to take some peeks inside. And there's people that have been inside of it for various reasons, and whatever way they got in, they got in. It doesn't seem like a necessarily safe place as far as structure itself.
Yeah.
It seems like it hasn't really been used in my estimation or my understanding in a while. The Lincoln Heights Jail, located near the LA River, was built in 1927 and cost $5 million. It opened its doors in 1931 and initially was made up of 5 stories with space to house 625 prisoners. Relatively small jail.
Surprising.
Things had changed rapidly by the early 1950s, with the jail growing to hold 2,800 prisoners.
Oof.
In 1951, there was an unwarranted and unprovoked beating of 7 prisoners. This is what became known as Bloody Christmas. If you've seen the movie LA Confidential, that is part of the plot or the subplot. It's referenced in there.
Yeah, it's in the landscape of it.
That started on Christmas Eve of 1951 when LAPD officers Julius Trojanowski and Nelson Brownson headed out to a call that had reported minors drinking. When they arrived, these so-called minors were 7 adult men: Daniel Rodea, Elias Rodea, Jack Wilson, William Wilson, Raymond Marquez, Manuel Hernandez and Eddie Nora. The men produced their IDs showing their age, but the officers said they had to leave. The men refused. We're adults.
They're like, we're 19. We're TikTok stars.
The officers tried to forcefully remove them, and a fight broke out. One officer needed stitches, and the other got a black eye. 7 hours later, the men were arrested. 6 were taken to the jail. Rodea, however, so I apologize for the mispronunciation.
I forgive you.
Was horrifically beaten by multiple police officers. On Christmas morning, a rumor broke out between a large number of drinking officers at a Christmas party. If you've seen LA Confidential, this is
exactly what's happening.
That Julius Trojanowski had lost an eye. The 6 prisoners were then taken from their jail cells and beaten for 95 minutes by approximately 50 officers.
Oh, God.
All of the men received several injuries. A cover-up attempt followed, and shockingly, the results of the eventual trial, 8 officers were indicted and tried between July and November of 1952. 5 were convicted, but only one of the men got a prison sentence of more than 1 year. 54 other officers were transferred, and 39 were temporarily suspended without pay.
Okay. Now, this is a kind of complicated issue, but also tale as old as time, this kind of reshuffling after something horrible has happened within an institution.
Al Capone was detained at Lincoln Heights Jail along with other notable individuals, such as those arrested during the Zoot Suit riots and the Watts riots. Two huge pieces of history here and internationally. That's wild. Al Capone was there. Al Capone was right in my backyard? Is that what you're saying? The jail also had a high number of LGBTQ inmates, and the inmates were kept in a separate wing. The LAPD had a heavy crackdown on the LGBTQ community activity during the 1950s and 60s.
Of course.
Whether it's indecency or whatever their charges.
Whatever excuse that they have for persecuting an oppressed group.
This jail really is a hotbed of the rights and the civil rights and the human rights of the people of Los Angeles. Undercover officers would go to bars and parks that were known as hangouts to members of this community and then arrest anyone they suspected of soliciting non-heterosexual sex and prostitution. The Black Cat in Silver Lake is a place that a lot of arrests happen. I could imagine there's a correspondence to the Black Cat in Silver Lake to the Lincoln Heights Jail. Yeah,
and to give you a frame of reference, Sunset goes down the cross-section of the whole city. We're talking about a little bit more east Sunset, and this is maybe a mile the other way, 2 miles tops.
And I believe the Black Cat was a pre-Stonewall.
Yeah.
As far as those iconic times in the history of human rights, civil rights.
A really important place, and still exists, really honors that history. If you're in LA, you should definitely check it out.
The jail was officially decommissioned in 1965 after the LA City Council and LA County Board of Supervisors decided to consolidate inmates to nearby county jails as it would be more cost effective. In 1979, the jail became home of the Bilingual Foundation of the Arts as well as a gym. This arrangement lasted until 2014. The operations were closed after asbestos and lead paint were discovered in the building.
Oof.
I don't know how it's discovered. Would you assume that it's there?
Yeah.
What did you think there would be renovation? At what point were they like, hey, let's get the asbestos out of here?
Yeah. At the point where people are dying and lawsuits are coming into play, that they're like, oh, maybe we'll do our due diligence years after the fact. Again, this is very typical.
Mysteriously, before this happened, the gym's owner was found dead at the bottom of an elevator shaft.
Oof.
In 1994, local boxing champion Johnny Flores fell to his death in the elevator shaft after leaving the LA Youth Athletic Club. The community champion amateur boxer was found at the bottom of the service elevator shaft, just steps away from the boxing gym he founded and where he spent most of his days.
God.
The gym made use of the former jail cells and holding tanks to provide athletic training for local youth.
Can you imagine walking into a gym and being like, this is a jail? And not only that, someone already died in an elevator in here. Would you ever take an elevator in this building?
I think it's a pretty tough to have some boxing training inside of jail cells and holding tanks. It's pretty tough. But also it provides a place for the youth of LA to go. It's a social program, maybe get the asbestos and lead paint out of it too. It's like a sad story that kind of leads to kind of the darkness around the Lincoln Heights jail.
Absolutely. And I support this too, but they don't want to make any renovations. I can't imagine psychologically walking into this thing. And actually, I know someone who works very, very close to this building, and they have also, it's a school, and they have asbestos problems and lead problems in the pipes there. So it's not like things are actively being improved for whatever reason. Again, these are oftentimes city-run buildings for a while, so they don't get maybe the attention that they need, and then they're privatized, and maybe it's too much of an undertaking, I guess. I'm not a city planner.
Let's take a break.
And now, a Best Fiends affirmation.
Your husband brags that he recorded 200,000 steps in the last month, but you're at level 3,832 on Best Fiends. Who deserves the bragging rights now?
With over 7,000 brain-boosting challenging levels, bragging never felt so easy. So download Best Fiends free from the App Store or Google Play today. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
Play Best Fiends. Download free.
Hi, I'm Olivia D'Andrea, host of the Globe Diaries podcast. This is not a self-help podcast. This is me being a friend to someone out there who needs it. I have struggled with disordered eating, anxiety, negative thinking, body image, loneliness. That really doesn't sound good when I list it all out, but yeah, I've had a lot of problems. Who hasn't? Everybody has problems. It's just that we don't really like to talk about it out loud because it's hard to openly share our struggles because it makes us vulnerable. But my belief is that talking about the things that have hurt us, our insecurities, is how we grow. So this podcast is about being real. Real life is not perfect like what we see on Instagram. Real life actually has struggle, and it really sucks sometimes. But remembering that our struggles is actually what makes life so great, because happiness grows from problems. So if you want to hang out with me and learn a thing or two, because I did go through this drastic 5-year mental and physical self-transformation that you can find on YouTube, subscribe to the Globe Diaries podcast. You can find it on any podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, etc., and let this just be a chill spot for us to grow together.
Hi, hello, how are you?
Hello.
How's it going? How's it hanging?
How's it hanging?
This is it. We're checking in.
You're here and we're here too.
Time to look inward. How does it look?
Don't do that.
My outward isn't that great.
No.
I'm sure my inward isn't much better. But you know what? This is it. This is the time.
This is what you get, so you'll make what you can with it. It's like leftovers.
We want to say hello to anyone who's listening, anyone who supports the show, spreads the good word, spreads the gospel.
Could you? For us?
No? You know what? We'll still...
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not in a position to say otherwise.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Okay.
You hold all the cards.
Absolutely. You have the power.
We want to say hello to our government.
Mm-hmm.
We got in not chronological or alphabetical order.
Good. What would the chronological... I guess when they joined Patreon. Never mind. Go on.
I was going to say age.
In order of age. How would we know their age? In order of address number and state.
Oh, I got that. I got that information. Good. Kat Joselle.
Hello.
James Harrington.
Hello.
David Bull.
Hello.
Ashley Matson.
Hello.
Dara Rosenzweig.
Oh, hello.
And our governor, who has sent a message from Mountain High.
Oh, really? A decree?
She sent out a decree, and instead of me taking the heat, I threw you under the bus.
Oh, good.
Our governor was not satisfied. We did not call her the one and only.
Uh-oh.
As if there were many.
If there is anyone else. We thought that was implied. We were wrong. We were dead wrong.
Don't leave us.
Please. What
do we do? We'll do anything. We'll do
anything.
Anything.
Terrible things. Name a thing. DM us with a thing.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We don't care. You think we won't?
Oh, you don't know us.
I also said that I would write a poem.
You did?
Yeah, but maybe this whole episode's a poem.
No.
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 Who's to say other than people that are literate?
That's true. Weigh in.
The one and only
Avian Noble.
So if you want early access, bonus episodes, no chit chat, you don't need that in your life.
Cut the shit.
Patreon.com/GhostTownPod. And if you happen to watch, or you do watch, the History Channel's History's Greatest Mysteries, the episode, The Amityville Horror, if you watched it, I haven't seen it yet, let me know what you think of me, and if you think I look fat,
tell him.
No, I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say don't tell me. Why would I say tell me?
Should we have a viewing party for your episode?
Do you have the History Channel? I don't.
Not sure.
I don't know how you get the History Channel.
I don't know either. I work for the History Channel right now.
Yeah, so
I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together.
I've only seen myself in some clips and stuff like that, and I'm always saying the same thing. The Amityville horror is something that's almost never talked about.
No, very obscure.
Very obscure.
Very obscure.
But we're gonna one more time. We're gonna
Let's do it again.
We're gonna solve it. So
yeah, one last try.
If you've seen that episode, thanks for checking it out, and let me know if you think it just play hot or not. But if it's hot, tell me. If it's not, tell Rebecca.
I'll collect them and then I'll report back.
You're like, yeah, that's a lot of Hollywood talk. Do you have more? The Lincoln Heights jail does have more.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back in those crazy prison gates.
The Lincoln Heights jail has served as the backdrop to many hot Hollywood movies. Ones you know, iconic.
Ooh.
I'll go as far as say, maybe without this jail, I don't know what the trajectory of these movies would be. There's a little movie called A Nightmare on Elm Street. The boiler room scene.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
That's the Lincoln Heights jail.
Ooh, look past the fog machines and you'll see it.
I mean, without that boiler room scene, yes, it's a great movie around that. It's a really good classic horror movie. But the fact that some of it took place in this jail that we've been describing, I think it's those little details that you don't know when you're watching it. How would you know?
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
as a kid when I was watching it, terrified, by the way, still terrified.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't know it's filmed in a pretty dark place. And Los Angeles in the early 1980s was running amok with that.
Oh, absolutely. Can you imagine driving in from Beverly Hills, from Burbank, from the studios to this place and being like, well, it's probably pretty late. Let's set up and shoot this terrifying scene.
The movie Caged Heat, which is a kind of a popular 80s kind of exploitational kind of like people in jail movie.
I haven't seen it. It sounds like it's right for this jail.
The Long Goodbye that I mentioned.
Of course.
Robert Altman directed, and the author Raymond Chandler. You know, that
L.A. Darling, Raymond Chandler.
And this movie is based on his work. I think it took some other liberties with it, but that jail is right in there. Perfect. Only a few years after it closed down, too. So it's
that
an
is
interesting.
Also wild.
L.A. Confidential, of course, referencing the Bloody Christmas and that story is, ripped right from the headlines.
Yeah. Did you know Pamela Anderson auditioned for L.A. Confidential?
I did, based on
Pam and Tommy?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if she was in that movie, in that jail?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to. It's a separate thing. What Pamela Anderson's trajectory might have been. A fun little romp called American History X.
Oh yeah,
Some on the roofs of that movie.
Oh.
Am I just describing the movies that were liked by the guys you dated? I imagine a lot of these fell into.
I'm seeing the posters in succession as I'm laying on their futon, waiting for them to stop playing guitar or video games. Pick one.
So no Fight Club or no Matrix in this one. Sorry, maybe the next one.
Maybe next one. Scarface?
No. But some of Scarface was filmed in Los Angeles.
Okay, I'll take it.
It's also been used in some music videos. Let's have some fun. Lady Gaga's Telephone.
Oh.
And Blink-182's Feeling This, I believe.
Okay.
So, you could say, oh, that's lame or corny, but it's like, or is it kind of cool?
Or
for them
it's
to do
a fucking jail.
Yeah.
And I remember the Lady Gaga one too, where they're leaving jail. They're in prison.
That's the one.
Yeah. It's great. It's a great song.
What's great about this particular episode is what we're talking about is beside the fact that you can see, Instagram or many, many pictures, but you could see it on celluloid kind of, and in different time periods, and you can really get an interesting 360 view of the whole thing, which I find very exciting.
I love that. I mean, it really is. It's as cliche as it sounds. It has given this place more life, being a part of these different productions and maybe even being a part of our podcast.
Now, The Hauntings. That's what you want, right?
Ooh.
It is reportedly and notoriously haunted. A lot of what I found is from TV film crews. And I don't need like a source to tell me that this place is probably haunted.
No, you
Think
felt
about what we
it.
mentioned. It freaked me out when I was there.
You felt it.
And just the amount that's happened in there in a relatively short, 1930s to 1960s and then on, it has just so much history and so much is pulled from it.
Yeah.
It's constantly being pulled from to use to tell other dark stories or other dark tales.
Totally.
It's hard to believe that it wouldn't be. And I didn't find anything concrete. Some people are like, no, it's not, it's just abandoned or whatever. But there's people that worked on these film sets that are like, something's not right here.
Up. And also, if you want to know if something's haunted, ask a film crew that has spent 18-hour days there. Honestly, like, they'll tell you.
Because you produce stuff that's...
Yeah, and I'm usually behind a screen somewhere. There's camera people that are in there. There's sound people. They're just standing there, observing everything around them.
And for the film and TV, they're not there to like find paranormal activity. They're there to film a Lady Gaga music video or Nightmare on Elm Street.
They're trying to do their job.
They're not there going, I can't wait to find a haunt. They're probably like, what's going on?
Yeah, I got to get home to my family.
In 2016, there looked to be a new lease on life on the horizon for the Lincoln Heights jail after the city of LA issued a request for interest to garner development ideas for the property. Permission was granted to the Lincoln Property Company and 15 Group to redevelop the prison. Lincoln Heights jail was set to become Lincoln Heights Makers District. The space was going to have commercial and manufacturing spaces, recreational areas, an office space, live-work housing, and an amphitheater with a green space. But March 2020 saw different things happening, and that came to a halt and was put on hold due to environmental issues. I'm sure obvious other issues.
Yeah, just environmental issues.
There were hazardous material and trash that need to be removed that apparently required more effort than initially expected. I don't know. As somebody who looked at this, I would walk up to it and be like, no. It's not, whatever we want to do right now, it's not ready to do that. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's putting a coat of paint on it. It's just a Goliath of a place that looks like it's in any dystopian future.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I don't know what they thought. There was somebody's there with a Swiffer.
Yeah, they're like, great. We can just sweep up here, and then we'll take the barbed wire off the thing, and we'll put in a juice bar.
Amphitheater, live workspace. There's two things you're not going to do there.
I don't want to work.
You're not going to live there, and you're not going to work there. But I hope. I mean, I hope it does. But it has landmark status.
Yeah,
really great Art Deco. So a lot of that will be retained. I selfishly like it like that, but I know that's just a selfish thing that I have no stake in. Obviously, it's a lot of space, and if it could be used for something beneficial to the community, hopefully, or bring revenue into Los Angeles, I'm always all for that. But selfishly, I like to just kind of see it as it is.
Yeah, just, WeWork on the bottom, a Walmart on the second floor, put like a Moon Juice in the elevator.
Or what about the Ghost Town Library on the roof?
Angie's List is now Angie, your home for everything home. And as any homeowner knows, caring for the place where you live can take, a lot of care. Luckily, Angie doesn't have just 20 plus years of home service experience. They've combined it with new tools to simplify how we tackle home care. Just bring them to your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie will handle the rest from start to finish. Or let you compare quotes from local pros and professionals and connect instantly, which means you can cross things off your to-do list in just a few taps. And when you book and pay through Angie, you will get their happiness guarantee, covering your project up to the full purchase price. So whether it's routine maintenance or a dream remodel, Angie makes it easy to get the job done. Let's start the year and your next project off right. Download the Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That is ANGI.com.
Hurry in during Ram Truck Month, where you'll find J.D. Power's #1 brand and new vehicle quality in 2021. And right now, get 0% financing for 72 months, plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. For 2021 J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Not compatible with any other offer. 0% APR financing for 72 months equals $13.89 per month per $1,000 finance for well-qualified buyers through Chrysler Capital, regardless of down payment. Not all buyers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take retail delivery by 3/31/2022.